No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay people, so this is going to be a video combining talking about the Boruto manga as well as the anime, because today it dawned on me very heavily the fact that the Boruto series, not only did we just get the 58th chapter, but we just reached the 200th episode. And in fact, Boruto now has been officially running since at the very least the inception of the manga for 5 years. If I'm not mistaken, it was May 9th, 2016 that the manga began, so we're 5 years deep. We have the popularity poll that was just recently released that was kind of, giving a gauge of like, well, where we're at right now. But holy cow, 5 years, 200 episodes, 58 chapters. Where are things going? Because it's kind of crazy to think that it's been 5 years since we got that very first surprise chapter of, Boruto versus Kawaki, this futuristic thing. And 5 years later, we're still not even at the beginnings of a time skip, which kind of makes me question a couple different things regarding the productivity and, the original vision. Because let's be honest, they probably had an idea of where they wanted to go, but they didn't know how they were going to get there. On top of the fact that I will still stand that I think it was very ridiculous to do the entire recap of Boruto Naruto the movie in the manga going for damn near a year. I want to say it was 9 chapters or so, basically 9 months. We had the recap of Boruto Naruto the movie, which turned a lot of people off because they were like, I already seen the film, we're already past that. We just had in fact a one shot and we had the Sarada manga. Why are we doing this? So we all know by now it was a bit of a rocky start. In fact, unfortunately, it turned a lot of people off in general to this day to the Boruto Naruto Next Generation series and franchise, because a lot of people were like, yo, what is this? Now where we're at right now, where we're at in terms of like just quality wise, because just being honest, originally it was very rough. The art wasn't all that great because obviously Masashi Kishimoto wasn't really involved in the beginnings of this. He still to this day isn't doing the art, but the art over time has immensely improved. We went from Sasuke looking like Professor Snape to looking like Sasuke, and we went through massive amounts of things, which again, I'm going to be talking about manga stuff, spoilers, so if you don't want to hear about it, you might want to get out of here, because I feel like to a certain degree the last couple of chapters prior to where we're at right now in the manga, we kind of accomplished one of the biggest objectives that the Boruto manga set out, and that was defeating, or the defeat at the very least, of Otsutsuki Isshiki, aka Jigen. Like, once Kara started, that was really where I feel like the manga started actually to pick up, and not only that, it feels like that was the first time we really got a glimpse of where things were going, because prior to that, the only other thing you would say, which has been a kind of ongoing thing from the beginning, would be the defeat, which was chapter about 9 of Momoshiki, where Boruto got the Kara mark. That was, I guess, the first inklings of where things was going, but it really wasn't until Kara that we got a big idea of, oh, okay, so this is seemingly going to be the big baddie of the entire series, with again Jigen, then later on known as Isshiki Otsutsuki. And to be honest with you, since the defeat of Isshiki Otsutsuki, I've felt a couple of different ways, because we still have remnants, obviously, of the Kara group. We still got Code that is carrying the mantle. We got the introduction to some of the other members of Kara and how they're supposedly just as strong as Isshiki, like Ada's knowledge and all the craziness that the manga has been introduced. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't just slightly a little bit like, yo, are the underlings going to be as interesting? Can they carry the threat and the level of intensity that Isshiki Otsutsuki had? Because Isshiki Otsutsuki was riding off the fact that he's an Otsutsuki, the clan that was the biggest villain and the big threat overall of the Naruto original story. That was one of the things that kept me going with it, and that was one of the things that really had me like anticipating every next move. And I would argue to date, as of the latest chapter 58, the biggest climactic moment we've had was the battle of Kashin Koji versus Isshiki Otsutsuki. That, I'm not even gonna lie, was one of the most hype. No, that was definitely the most hype I've been for Boruto, whether anime, manga, whatever the case may be. That was where I was like absolutely in love with the story. I was just like, no, you can't tell me otherwise. I love this shit every single month while that was going on. But that's not to say that there wasn't any other hype moments, because then following that, we did have the big, I guess, rematch, so to speak, of Naruto and Sasuke versus Isshiki Otsutsuki. Boruto jumping in the mix. We saw the casualties of the war, of course, losing Kurama, Sasuke losing his eyes. So there was a lot of really epic and iconic stuff following that. Some people would say, they throw the argument that they don't like what's going going on, in particular with some of those losses, but nevertheless, it was pretty climactic after the fact. Just right now where we're at in both anime and manga, we're in a transitional phase because the latest chapter of the manga, chapter 58, was basically training, like Kawaki learning how to be a true shinobi, learning the importance of training properly. He goes up against Boruto, and in fact, right now where we're at in the manga, basically Boruto's a drug addict. We got those drug suppressants, that is a big deal, which I definitely think is going to play a major factor in things regarding the future of Boruto as a character, because I think that those suppressants aren't going to really be a suppressant, or if anything, maybe it's going to play a factor of like an immunity thing where eventually Boruto will be immune to it, and it'll make it even worse. It's kind of like holding a garden hose. Like imagine, you know, you put on the water of a garden hose and you hold it, how it's going to keep ballooning up, and once you let loose, it's going to start spraying. Maybe that's what could happen with those drugs that were given to Boruto via Naruto, via getting them from Amado. And who knows, maybe Amado knows that, because I still to this day say that Amado, not only is he suspicious, I don't think he's on our side. And then where we're at on the anime side of things, because the anime right now, I'll just say it straight up and down. Every week I feel like, oh damn, and the last couple chapters of the manga, maybe 3, I want to say even 4, I am more so leaning towards like, give me the anime over the manga. I'm loving where the anime, even some of the stuff that is kind of like, you would argue anime original, filler-esque, like just training moments, the moments that we get with other characters that aren't really focused primarily in the manga, because the manga just right now started getting back into, oh shit, here's Sarada, here's Mitsuki versus Kawaki, here's some of those characters, and the anime still continues to focus in on them from time to time as well. Like with the latest episode 200, we got to see Sarada using the Chidori in a training session with Sasuke, and I absolutely love it. Anytime we get to see the Uchiha family bonding, training, conversations, some wisdom, all of that jazz, I love it. I wish we would get more of that even in the manga, and that's always a drawback. Honestly, I wish Boruto was weekly. We all wish that, but at this point, I highly doubt we'll ever get that, considering supposedly Masashi Kishimoto has been involved for a little bit now, and it's remained monthly. Yeah, it's going to remain probably the case, because if you think about it, 2 of the biggest properties worldwide are in the same magazine, V Jump, Dragon Ball, and Naruto. Well, Dragon Ball Super and Boruto, you get what I mean. And I've said it before, and I'll regurgitate it really quickly here, that the Boruto anime is honestly my preferred choice right now, which is crazy, because Boruto anime originally, everybody hated it for the longest time, years upon years, nobody liked it, blah, blah, blah. But right now, just once again, each and every week, I am highly anticipating what's going to happen. The bonds being strengthened, the extra development that we don't get in the manga, the anime is doing. And I've always loved the animated version of this series to begin with. It was just like Boruto really went into a filler galore for a long time because of the way it was released. And I guess right now, the state of Boruto, Naruto Next Generations as a series, as a manga, anime franchise as a whole, is in both scenarios, we're in transitional stages. More so, the manga right now is definitely in a transition. It's training, it's building up. The anime right now, within the next couple weeks, is probably going to be at a very big climax, because again, it's adapting stuff from the manga and we know what's about to happen. But I just gotta say, shout outs to making a major comeback. Like granted, it probably will never get to the heights that Naruto has, because just in general, it gave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth from the beginning. But Boruto Naruto Next Generations has come an immensely long way from the days of adapting the Boruto Naruto, the movie stuff that we did not want to see again, from the days of the anime feeling like filler nightmares, filler hell, from the days of the art being terrible in the manga. All of those days are long since gone. We are 5 years strong. We've had some immense iconic moments. The manga in general, there's at least 3 moments off the top of my head that I could say, no, they go in line with some of the top moments that you would add in Naruto. The Koji fight versus Isshiki, that was legendary. Some Kawaki moments, just in general, the stuff with Boruto dealing with Momoshiki possessing him. There's a lot of really awesome stuff for Boruto, and 5 years later, where Boruto is at right now, you definitely should give it a shot. I would argue that now, even the anime, go get a filler guide. If you really don't want to watch any of the filler stuff, because granted, I won't blame you. There is some shit where I don't care about Team 25 and what the hell they're doing. Get a filler guide, see what's going on. There's a couple of other things I'd say watch. Majority of the Kara activation stuff with Deepa and things like that, because it's pretty good all the way through. But yeah, get a filler guide and enjoy, because Boruto has been a treat for a bit now. At the very least, I can say for a solid year, the Boruto anime and the manga have been awesome. But yeah, Boruto, we've come a long way, and we're here. I don't want to say to stay, because you never know with these studios and whatnot, but it's pretty interesting to note that Boruto is thriving in 2021. And not to mention, we still haven't even gotten to the time skip yet, which I'm wondering when the manga is going to do that, because again, it's been mentioned at the end of last year it was about to happen. We're about halfway through 2021. It still hasn't happened, and we're getting less setups that showcase, oh yeah, we're going into a time skip, and more so like, yeah, things is about to go down yet again. But I'm curious what you guys think. For starters, one of the biggest biggest questions I want to ask you. You right now that is watching. When did you start Boruto and how did you feel about it when you started it? So let's just say you started it from episode 1. You started it from chapter 1. You've been riding with Fornev since 2016 when I dropped my first review of it. How did you feel about it then? How do you feel about it now? Do you feel like it's improved immensely? Do you feel like it's had too many lows for you to care? Maybe you tried it in the beginning and you completely dropped it. I've seen people even, as popular as Mr. Beast say that he just couldn't get into it because it was ridiculous after like giving it 100 episodes of a try. And where do you potentially see things going right now? I really hope that the manga starts to pick back up because remember, eventually the anime is going to get to where the manga's at right now. And again, the manga's in a transitional stage, but yeah, wherever things go, I'm just hoping that it continues to be an upward incline the way Boruto has been, opposed to like a sharp decline, because Boruto has done some great things. Again, it's not the same bullshit that you hated back in 2016, 2017. Manga and anime, I could safely say now, pretty good. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga. One life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And congrats to Boruto. 58 chapters, 200 episodes, 5 years of a manga run. Let's go for another 5 and hopefully get better and better. And yo, where's Kashi and Koji at? I'm just saying I want to see more of him. Have an awesome day.
You